Tonight at 9, the record has been broken. 19 straight days of 110 degrees or more in Phoenix, and we're not near done. So how long before we could get some relief? We'll take a look in your First Alert forecast.
A first-hand look at what fire crews are up against as heat calls spike, trying to keep the public and themselves safe.
Plus, tragedy at football camp. A Phoenix teen drowns while swimming with teammates in Show Low. How investigators say it happened.
Out of jail and answering questions. The Valley man acquitted of murdering his stepdaughter talks about his family turning on him in court.
And a Valley woman survived months without AC, but this heat wave was just too much. We're there as a Valley company makes good on a promise to cool her down. All ahead tonight at 9.
We did it. Arizona broke a record today, hitting 110 degrees or higher 19 days in a row. This breaks the old record of 18 in a row from 1974, nearly 50 years ago.
And today's record likely won't hold because it seems like we're going to add to it tomorrow, at least tomorrow. Royals here tonight with a check of what we can expect, at least one more, if not a few more, right?
Yeah, at least a few more. We think through the end of the week, then maybe some moisture and maybe some thunderstorms.
At some point.
Keeping our fingers crossed. Yeah, that's for sure. Today we got up to 118 degrees. For today's date, that broke a record. 115 was the previous record and went back to 1989. The average high 107 degrees on today's date. So yeah, here's the list that we are going to continue to, well, eclipse. 19 days and counting, the longest streak of 110 degrees or more in Phoenix. Those records go back to 1895. And oh, by the way, 94 was our morning low for the 9th straight day where lows didn't make it into the 80s. And that's the other issue that's exacerbating this extreme heat problem. The all-time warmest, 96 degrees. And right now we've got 114 for a high today out at Mesa, 115 at Chandler. Also a bunch of 115s on the west side of town. So the excessive heat warning continues for western and central Arizona. The heat advisory also continuing up in the northern and eastern portions of the state through Friday at least. Very hot all around the state. Possibility that those might get extended as well.
I mean, if only it would just cool down to the 80s. That's not too much to ask, Royal.
Totally.
I do want to show you this because in other parts of the state, we've been talking about this. They're seeing monsoon storms and have been pretty much every day this week. A couple shots from today. It rained across northern Arizona. Viewer video here sent in to us from Williams and across to Show Low as well. A couple storms there. So exactly how long has it been now since we've seen the rain? Because it seems like it's been forever.
I want to say too long, because it has been too long. We had that wet winter, and then the faucet just turned off for us. So let's turn it back on. Let's check it out. We haven't had any rain for the monsoon, and our last measurable rain was back on March 22nd, so we're about a half an inch behind on our rainfall to date. The current dry streak, 118 days, nowhere near the record, but it's getting our attention. The record was 160 days without rain in 1972. Yeah, we're not going to break that record for sure. We're just looking for that chance that we can break the heat, number one, and number two, get some rain in here.
Well, we know it just takes one storm. Look at the storm in Tucson yesterday. It was like an inch.
Inch of rain and temperatures dropped into the 70s. That's all we need.
You chose very well with your emojis. That red face, tongue out emoji.
There you go.
I think there was a single tear. That was all of us in the newsroom today. We were in the newsroom.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yes, thank you, Royal.
Well, the heat is a dangerous situation, a scary situation, and it's already been deadly this week. Thankfully, no reports of children or pets in hot cars. But the Maricopa County Attorney's Office says over the last 20 years, it's been a huge problem. Nearly 20 children in Arizona have died after being trapped in a hot car.
Every year, we raise awareness of the dangers. Tonight, instead of telling you, Casey Torres is showing you. So she joins us in studio tonight to tell us about what you did today, Casey.
All right, so I did sit in a hot car, and this was with the captain from Scottsdale Fire Department. So I want to just make it clear to everyone that we did not do this at a whim. We set it up in advance, made sure to hydrate, and talked about safety before going in. This is not a challenge, but a way to responsibly show how dangerous and potentially deadly being trapped in a hot car can be.
It's 116 degrees outside. The goal, 10 minutes in a hot car.
So immediately, as you can notice, thick, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like it displaces the oxygen in here. It's just so hot.
Scottsdale Fire Captain David Folio explains children's body temperature can increase at a rate 3 to 5 times faster than adults.
How long, when is it too dangerous for kids?
Man, doesn't it feel like right now? We've been in here a minute.
We tried to check my body's temperature.
It's already too hot, so it's not working.
After reaching the 2-minute mark, we got a read.
So it's saying high. So when it gets to 104, it reads high. So we're already past that.
Then we took a look at my heart rate.
117 is your pulse already. So your pulse rate's already gone up probably 20 to 30 points. Initially, probably 80 to 90, and you can see how it's climbing behind us.
At this point, the air was thickening.
I can't imagine how if you leave a child in here, you know, how they're trying to adapt. We've literally only been in here for 3 minutes.
At around 5 minutes,
the temperature's way past 140, 150. Right. It's off the charts.
We have the surface temperature. Let's check the dashboard here, too. It's 180. And now we're hitting just past 6 minutes. Where am I at?
So isn't that crazy? You started at 80 to 90. You're at 133 heart rate right now, 136 heart rate.
I can feel it.
When we reached 7 minutes,
we're at about 7 minutes, and I'm probably ready to call it quits.
I think we're good.
Wow.
7 minutes, we called it.
So how were you feeling after those 7 minutes? Did you rush right inside, or what did you do next?
Well, we stayed outside, we got some shade, but Captain Folio had a bucket full of cold water bottles, so he says, like, start drinking. You know, I felt fine, but my heart rate did take about 10 minutes to go back to normal.
I was writing that down as you were reading. 117, 133, just sitting there.
Yes.
You no exercise, just sitting there.
It felt
just
like
doubled.
I was running,
yeah.
but I was sitting there, and then there was a point where I just became, when he mentioned the first heart rate, I was like, oh my goodness, and then I started thinking about it, and then it got a little harder to breathe too. It's just the air was so thick.
Yeah, it definitely paints a scary picture. Have you checked on Dave, how he's doing?
He was doing good, but he was sweating a lot. He's saying, you know, he's always hydrating, so he was prepared. We were both prepared too, but we, again, can only imagine a child or a pet being stuck in a hot car, has no idea what's going on. They could be panicking, and that could make it even worse.
Yeah. So anything else we need to know about being in a hot car or kind of preventing this?
Right. So, I mean, unfortunately, people sometimes they forget children there. And so Dave Folio was saying that maybe take one of your shoes off, leave it in the back seat. So when you step out of the car, you can feel the heat. Remember, check the back seat. Some cars have apps now that have sensors that will let you know if they sense someone in the back seat. Maybe leave an important item to like a purse or a laptop, but always remember to just check your back seats. But again, he's saying some parents might be new parents too. They might be sleep deprived, busy. So it can happen to anyone, is what he says.
They've been relentless with this awareness campaign, and I really do think it's made a difference over the years.
And you volunteered for this today, huh?
I did volunteer, and I just realized how, it's high, and I'm still sweating thinking about it. Yeah, but
put the ceiling fan on tonight.
Yeah, they hope with this transparency, people will just see how serious it can be.
Casey, thank you. Well, as this dangerous heat wave continues, our team put together an extensive heat relief guide. She's fanning herself on the way out with resources and advice to keep you and your families safe this summer. So check it out, azafiliant.com/heat.
A warning for this next story, which contains some new video released today to us. This is from first responders at the scene of a deadly bear attack up near Prescott in June. We're not showing the victim here, but in the video you can hear one of the responders on scene describe what they found there.
So it's a male bear.
Okay.
And the little limited stuff on the animal, it looks like he just was hungry.
In the video, you can hear the two investigators discussing what they found following the bear attack. We would later learn the victim was 66-year-old Stephen Jackson of Tucson. Sheriff's deputies say he was camping in the woods near Prescott when the bear attacked him unexpectedly, unprovoked, killing him. One of his neighbors later shot the bear.
That's your worst fear, is coming across something like this. So if truly this is what has happened, it's heartbreaking, and just prayers for the family.
It truly is heartbreaking, a tragedy hitting a Valley High School community during summer break. A 15-year-old at football camp in Show Low drowned while swimming with teammates.
He went to Cesar Chavez High School in Phoenix. His teammates and coaches were at the lake when this happened. This was at Sholo Lake. His body was found earlier today after an 18-hour search, and the investigation is ongoing. David Caltabiano is in the newsroom with more on this. David.
Hey, Jamie, good evening. This kind of stuff just does not happen at football camp, and now it has rocked Cesar Chavez High School. Like you mentioned, players and coaches were reportedly at Sholo Lake after practice for team bonding. Despite the no swimming signs at the lake, we're told several students went in, and 15-year-old Christopher Hampton disappeared under the water. He was reported missing around 8 Monday night, and first responders were called out to the area searching for the missing teen. Sadly, his body was found by divers today after an 18-hour search.
People send their kids off to go to athletic camps and, scout camps or what have you. You just never know when a tragedy like this is going to come upon us.
Now, in a statement from Phoenix Union High School District, a spokesperson said, quote, "This tragedy impacts all communities we serve, and district and campus staff will continue to cooperate fully with the ongoing investigation." Now, our crews up in Sholo today did see the mother. She was on site when her son's body was found. Cesar Chavez football coaches were there too. They were too broken up to speak on camera, but they simply said that Chris was a special young man who had his whole life ahead of him. Jamie?
Absolutely devastating. David, thank you for that story. In a true crime Arizona update, we are hearing from the Valley man accused and then acquitted for the murder of his teenage stepdaughter. She disappeared 22 years ago. Her body was never found. For 3 years, Alyssa Turney's stepfather, Michael Turney, has been behind bars awaiting trial.
That trial came to an abrupt end yesterday. The judge threw out the case before closing argument, saying there was not enough evidence. We were there as Michael Turney walked out of jail free this morning. Here's Morgan Lowe.
Michael Turney said he would continue to search for his stepdaughter's killer, but he would not directly answer the question of whether he had anything to do with her death. This conversation took place just moments after Turney was released from jail. He was facing trial on charges of second-degree murder in the disappearance and death of his stepdaughter, Alyssa. She vanished in 2001. Prosecutors rested their case after 1 week of testimony. Then the defense asked the judge to acquit Turney, saying prosecutors didn't have any evidence connecting him to the crime. The judge agreed. Today, Turney told True Crime Arizona's Brianna Whitney that he is not celebrating.
It doesn't feel good because I lost my family.
Where do you think Alyssa is? And did you play any part in her disappearance?
I'm not going to answer that question. Not till I talk with Jamie Jackson.
Do you think she's still alive?
I hope.
Turney also complained about the way he was treated in jail while he was awaiting trial, and he blamed the Phoenix Police Department for creating the case against him. Michael Turney is now a free man, and his daughter Alyssa remains missing. Although the judge dismissed the case against him, he did say enough time has passed since Alyssa disappeared in 2001 to conclude that she is dead. I'm Morgan Lowe for Arizona's Family.
Former President Trump says he expects to be indicted again. Now attention turns to people in battleground states like Arizona who are accused of helping Trump try to overturn the election results.
We know we're making history this week with the longest stretch of this extreme heat ever. We're talking to experts about why they think it's happening.
Plus, you might need to resave some numbers in your phone. Up next, I'll tell you where in the valley you'll need to make sure to dial the area code for, even if you live there.
For heat relief resources and tips, go to azfamily.com/heat.